YouTube family. Welcome back to my channel. My name is KeiaraNicole. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. If you're coming back, welcome back. What? Huh? Don't talk about my edges. Your mama don't got none. Huh? Oh, okay. Back up off my head. Don't talk about my hair. Your mama wish she had as much as I got. Now that we have that out of the way, today is Friday. It's Friday, baby. And I'm gonna party and get my groove on, It's Friday, baby. And I'm gonna party to the break of dawn. I really don't got the energy, and I'm not really feeling my normal vibe, which is why I'm talking to y'all. But happy Friday, October 11th. Today is the 11th day of Vlogtober. We have been vlogging for 11 days straight. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of me. So I had a video queued up today that I hadn't edited and posted. And I was going to post it for y'all today as a little flashback Friday. But something just been on my spirit all day. I'm in Amaya's room. Something been on my spirit all day. Something been just bothering me. I don't really know if it's been bothering me, but it's been bothering me. It's been bothering me. It's been perplexing me. It's been confusing me. It's been frustrating me. It's been pissing me off. It's been getting on my nerves. It's been having me be like, what the fuck? Like, all of that. I've been all of that. So, the way that I be like, with stuff, I'll be putting on too much chapstick. And be right there on my lip. But my lips don't be dry. Don't call me a dry mouth. Okay. The way that I decompress is to blah, 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 blah. Give it all out. And I can't really, I ain't gonna say curse my dad out because I don't curse at my dad, but I can't really tell him off because he's at work and that there beat me off. I can't really tell him off because he can't get on the phone right now, and that there is pissing me off even more. So I'm coming to my outlet. So, and I'm hoping that this will help me. I've seen so many people do these things, and next thing you know, they didn't got the connection. So please share my video, like my video, share it, tell somebody else to come look at it. The right somebody tell the right somebody. That somebody gonna tell somebody. Then that somebody gonna go tell their somebody, and next thing you know, it's with the right somebody. Okay. Is the lighting better in here? I tried to record from my room, but I'm already black. And my room is black. And one of my light bulbs is blew out. So, you know, it was giving, y'all was going to be looking in the camera like this, trying to see if you could see where I was at. So, I came into my room, hoping the lighting better. The lighting probably better in DJ room, low key. But DJ, because one of my light bulbs blew out too. Okay, it's a little ghetto over here. Okay. I ended up buying some more light bulbs, but I bought 60 watt. Who do that? Who that's for? Who that's for? So we couldn't use those. And I ain't went back to the store yet. Ain't got no other ones. But let me tell y'all what's been going on. So my name, and before somebody might tell my dad might end up seeing this. Somebody tell them, Kiara was telling your business on the internet. First of all, it's my business. It's very much my business. He just a part of my business. Now that we got that out the way. So, my dad, my dad had, how should I start this story? So, I don't know. That's why it's frustrating me, because I be all over the place, especially when I try to tell it to somebody that wants to help me is all over the damn place. So I have never met my paternal grandfather. Like, never met him. Hell for that. Never mind. We're not going to get on my mama people because it's a method to my madness. I have never met my paternal grandfather. My paternal grandfather died way before I was born, way before I was thought of. My paternal grandfather died when my dad was only 2. An infant, a toddler. He wasn't no infant, he was a toddler. A country bumpkin looking toddler, but a toddler nonetheless. I should insert their picture up here. I should insert their picture up here, but I ain't gonna do that. Because he did, I'll be telling this business. But they said they was poor back in the day. And country bumpkins, they looked every bit of it. Absolutely did. Like some poor Mississippi kids. And they absolutely did. That's okay. Because some of my pictures when I was young, I probably looked like a poor city girl. Because we absolutely was. Very much not those city girls, even though I'm those now. But anywho, okay, my grandfather died when my dad was 2. So my paternal grandfather, his name is Luther Lewis Sr. He was born in 1926 or 1927, and he died in April 1966. He caught tuberculosis and died in April of 66. Okay. My granddad and my grandma had 3 kids together. My dad, my uncle, and my aunt. Yeah, they had 3 kids together. He never met my aunt because he died a month before my aunt was born. A month and 2 days. My aunt's birthday, the 13th, April 13th. A month and 2 days before he was born because he died. Oh, no, I think he was born July 11th. Anywho, he died a month before my aunt was born. He died in April. She was born in May. My grandma moved with her kids from Mississippi to Michigan in August of 66. After her husband died, she moved. I'm confusing y'all, ain't I? Let's start over. My grandma met my granddad and they got married. When they got married, they had 3 kids. I just found out today my grandma was getting them out the way. Siobhan, don't come on here talking to me, talking about don't talk about your grandma, because my grandma was getting them out the way. So they got married and they had 3 kids. They had my dad, who's his oldest. I mean, my dad, who's my grandma's oldest. They had my uncle, who 11 months younger than my dad. Catch it. Stay with me now. And then they had my aunt, who is 2 years younger than that uncle, that middle child. No wonder my grandma never said nothing to me about having a kid. The whole time, because she said don't play with her granddaughter, and she said what she said. Anywho, so they had those 3 kids. Now, my granddad already had a kid by himself from either the first marriage or, I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but either, I don't know if they were married or if they just had a kid. Either way, my granddad had a kid. So he had a son, and then he married my grandma, and they had 3 kids. The youngest kid that they had, he never got to meet her because he died a month before my grandma delivered her. And he died in April of 66 from a battle with TB. Now, in August of 66, my grandma moved from Mississippi to Michigan with her kids. And that there is where we lost the connection with my paternal side of my family. Don't get in my comments. Don't get in. I done been telling y'all since the beginning, my tongue is slick. Don't get in my comments talking about your grandma moved y'all away, that's why y'all don't know them. Your grandma separated y'all, that's why y'all don't know. Baby, I go that way by my grandma, okay? I'll call your mama behind my grandma, okay? Let's not stay with me. So they moved to Michigan in April of 66. Now, they had a big brother that I said was my granddad's oldest, my Uncle Al. Al Lewis Sr., right? Some way, somehow, God made Al Lewis Sr. move to the same little rinky-dink Saginaw that my grandma was in. I mean, that my grandma went to. So, as they got older as adults, because my uncle, when my granddad died, my uncle was a few months short of 18. Okay? Stay with me. I said my granddad died when my dad was 2. But my uncle was 17, a couple months shy of 18. He would have turned 18 in, I think I said July. I've been working on my family tree all day. It's been pissing me off. Yeah. So, see, I wonder how old she is when she was born. And see, nobody wants to help me. Ain't nobody else in my family took no damn DNA test. My dad don't want to take one. My uncle don't want to take one because they don't want their DNA out there. But don't y'all think it'll be easier for y'all to connect? I'm trying to connect 2 generations over. It was your daddy, not mine. Anywho, I hope I'm not confusing y'all because it's so frustrating. But I'm hoping y'all stay with me and I'm hoping y'all share these videos and then somebody that knows somebody can connect the name. Please. So, my uncle was 17, couple months shy of 18 when his daddy died. My dad was 2. My uncle was 1, right? And my grandma was pregnant with the baby girl. So, that means he's 15 years older than my dad. 15, 16 years older than my dad. So, that means he knew your dad for 15 or 16 years longer than y'all did. I said my dad was 2 when he died, right? Okay, stay with me. They end up reconnecting with their brother by the grace of God. Because I don't know why everybody ended up in rinky-dink second. I mean, I know Jim was there, but damn. Y'all, ain't nobody end up in Flint, Lansing, Detroit. Everybody was in raggedy ass second on. All right. And yeah, it was raggedy in them days too. Everybody was just poor and everything was poor. So it didn't seem that raggedy. It was raggedy in them days too. So they reconnected with their brother. So we grew up knowing my Uncle Al, right? Al Lewis Sr. My dad connected with them. We used to go over my Uncle Al's house. I knew my Uncle Al real good. I knew that that's my daddy's brother. They got the same daddy, right? Now, what I will say is for a while, I thought this man was a figment of their imagination. I'm not going to hold you. I've never seen a picture of my granddad, ever. Ever. I've never seen a picture of my granddad. Now, one thing about my grandma, she hold pictures real tight. She hold pictures real tight. You wasn't finna be playing through her pictures. She hold them real tight, so tight that I've never seen a picture of my granddad. Don't know what he looked like, couldn't tell y'all. I found out from just like reports in the census and stuff that I think at the time of his death, he was 5'6" or 5'7", 140 pounds. So he was thin as hell. But that's what my dad said. He said he wasn't really tall, but as a kid, he looked tall and thin. But my dad trying to remember as a 2-year-old. Okay, catch it. Nothing made my uncles think. I mean, not my uncles. Nothing made my dad or my uncle think. Let's talk to our brother. Let's ask our brother. Oh my God, our brother knew daddy. Let's ask our brother this, that, and the third. Do we got some aunts? Is our grandparents alive? Do we got some cousins? Let's figure it the hell out. Nobody want using their brain. I will say for the longest, and I'm going to give myself some grace because hell, I was the child. But I will say for the longest, I didn't even think like, oh, let me put that together. Let me go over Uncle Al's house and ask him about his daddy. I was going over my uncle's house. I sit there, my uncle would talk to me for hours. And I never once asked about his daddy. Like as I was young, it was just like, oh, y'all daddy died. He caught TB and died. And my brain never said like, Ask her, like, did he have some sisters? Did he have a brother? Is they alive? Where they at? How is they? Do you talk to them? Can I see them? Can I see a picture of my granddad? My uncle probably has some pictures of their daddy. Y'all got to understand how this feels to sit here and tell y'all. I knew of my granddad my whole life. They told me he died when my daddy was 2. I knew of him my whole life. But to sit here at 35 and tell y'all 2 things. One, I've never seen a photo of my granddad. According to my grandma, granddaddy had money and drove a Cadillac, but hell, he ain't taking no pictures. Ain't nobody got no pictures. Ain't nobody seen him. Okay. For 2, to sit here and tell y'all, I come in here every day in front of y'all and tell y'all my name is KeiaraNicole. My name is KeiaraNicole Lewis. And I sit here in front of y'all today in y'all face and tell y'all, my last name is Lewis. And I don't know none of my Lewis bloodline. Y'all got to understand how that feels. And that's why I said get pissed off. I get irritated. And that's why I get frustrated when I think of the same thing about my son. His last name is Mills. He carried that because of his dad. But that's not even a bloodline. Well, hell, at this point, we don't know if it is or not. His mama could be lying, and it could be his daddy. His dad's dad. But then at the same time, it probably couldn't be. Nobody knows. And I sit here and tell y'all, I carry the last name Lewis, but I don't know none of my Lewis bloodline. Right? So, my grandma was a Frazier. My grandma got married, okay, to my granddad, whose last name was Lewis. My grandma had a bunch of Lewis kids. Then, out of them Lewis kids, only one had kids, which is my dad had me and my sister and brother. My granddad also had my Uncle Al, the oldest one, whose last name was Lewis. Then he branched off and had kids and their kids. I don't know my granddad's siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles. Well, I know his kids because I just said my dad and my uncle, and my other uncle. But to know that, if I be like my last name Lewis, right? Yeah, my grandma's last name was Lewis. That's her married last name. My grandma's a Frazier. I know my grandma's side. I don't know my granddad's side. And I see her and tell you this at 35. That shit irritates me. It bothers me. It irritates me. It frustrates me. I feel like it's stupid as fuck. Because y'all were adults. Why did y'all not try to figure this out? Now, I'm over here figuring out, and I don't want to get asked nothing. When I figure it out, don't ask me nothing because it wasn't important enough for nobody else to try to figure it out. So, when I figure it out, if God is my witness, when I figure it out, don't ask me shit. I don't know. I don't know. Everybody going to have to do digging and be just as frustrated as I am. I have been able to find out so much information. I found out that my granddad, at the time of his death, he had a sister and a brother. Were they his big sisters or his big sister and big brother, or his little sister and little brother? Who knows? Because I don't know. Are they still alive? Is they dead? I don't know. Like, they could be alive right now. They could be in their 70s or 80s. Who fucking knows? No one knows. No one knows because no one cared to give up and look. Now, like I said, at the same time, I didn't care to, I don't know if I didn't care or if I was just young. So it wasn't really like, oh, let me figure that out. But I sat here and told y'all in the video yesterday, I almost lost my life to COVID in 2021. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not playing. As God is my witness, I almost lost my life. God spared my life. When I got up off my couch, January the 21st, 2022, I had been in my bed from August the 25th to January the 21st, 2022, fighting for my life. When I got up on my bed, I said it was 2 things that I was going to do. One, I was going to live. I was going to live. God had spared my life. I was going to live. I was going to live with my kids, and I was going to live for me and my kids. I was going to live. And since then, I have been living. I've been holding that end of my bargain. Second thing I said I was going to do, I ain't going to die without knowing my family. I'm not. Because nobody ain't going to tell me I just ain't got no cousins or nothing out here. It's somebody out here. And I just got to figure it out. I said I was going to find my family. I'm not going to die not knowing my family. And that's what I'm trying to do because, nigga, what the fuck? Like, yeah, my last name Lewis. Ain't never been no Lewis family reunion. Don't know no Lewis family outside of my grandma kids and my uncle. I talked to my uncle kid. So my uncle ended up having 2 kids. One passed away before I started looking. The other one is still living. I asked him. He said he don't know nothing. A little bit I feel like he lying. A little bit I feel like he might not be lying. His name Al Lewis Jr. I kind of feel like he probably don't want to tell me. As well as I feel like it's everybody too tight-lipped. Don't nobody know shit. Everybody too tight-lipped. And I feel like because of that, math just don't math. And I could be overthinking it, and the math could be mathing, but 2 plus 2 not equaling 4. Okay? Remember I told y'all it's black and white with me. There's no gray area. So he said he don't know none. His daddy never talked about his dad and whatever. I talked to his grandkids who also carry the Lewis name. They don't know shit either. Okay, whatever. So I've been trying to put it together. I found out a bit about my granddad that I would like to tell y'all. And maybe somebody can help me look and put it together. Hold on. I'm going to read y'all something that I wrote to the genealogist the other day. Because this is, I think I put it together as much as I could. I do want to let y'all know I did do a DNA test on 23andMe over a year ago. And I've been waiting. I ain't really had no strong hits since then. Just today, October 11th, 2024, I did another DNA test through Ancestry, which is supposed to be the biggest database. I mean, I'm trying to pull a rabbit out of ass at this point. Like, at this point, I'm trying to pull a big badonkadonk BBL ass out of rabbit. That is how I'm feeling. And I don't know if y'all can hear my frustration in this, but it pisses me off. Because I feel like it could all be so simple. Y'all daddy died. His parents were still alive when he died. His siblings were still alive when he died. His oldest kid that was 15 years older than my grandma's oldest kid. Well, not my grandma's oldest kid, but my grandma's oldest kid by my granddad. And nobody thought like, let's learn our family in Mississippi. And I don't want to go to dirt, back, broke down, poor ass Mississippi. I never wanted to go to Mississippi. But at this point, damn it, I got to go to Vicksburg and figure it out. My granddad placed in an unmarked grave. They done told me where he was buried, but it's an unmarked grave. And I want y'all to hear me today. October 11th, 2024. And if you know anything about me, I say what I mean and I mean what I say. Mark my words, I will find my granddad's grave. And when I find my granddad's grave, I will get my granddad a headstone. You can mark my words because I say what I mean and I mean what I say. I don't know when I'll find it. I do not know when I will find it. But you mark my words, I will find it. And I will get my granddad a headstone. Okay? All right. Probably got to take my ass to Brokeback, Mississippi to find it. Probably got to... The fuck? I need to get a phone book. I probably need to get a damn phone book from Mississippi and just go try to be looking like back in the day on some damn, what the movie was called, y'all? When the boy, not Training Day. You want to go to jail or you want to go home? Not John Q. What the movie was called with Antoine Fisher. Probably got to get like Antoine Fisher. Shit. Look, Antoine Fisher had more help than me. And he didn't grow up with nobody who would have been able to grow up with somebody. Anywho, let me read to y'all what I wrote to these people. So, and I told them I'm going to try really hard not to confuse anyone. So, my father's name is Richard Lewis. He was born November of 1963 to Ernestine Lewis and Luther Lewis Sr. Luther Lewis Sr. was born July 11th, 1926 or 1927. He was born to Richard Lewis and either Hannah Jones or Anna Jones in Hinds County or Vicksburg, Mississippi is where my granddad, Luther Lewis Sr. was born. Luther Lewis Sr. died April of 1966 at University Hospital in Jackson, Mississippi after a long battle with tuberculosis. At his time of death in April of 1966, he was survived by his wife, Ernestine Lewis, 3 children, Albert Lewis, Richard Lewis, and Luther Lewis Jr. Now, my grandma was also pregnant, but my aunt was not here yet. So they then had, that next month, my grandma delivered Maria Lewis. Luther Lewis Sr. was also survived in April of 1966 by his siblings, a brother, Joe Lewis, who lived in Ocala, Florida in 1966, and a sister, Ella Mae Tolliver, who lived in Vicksburg in 1966. After my grandpa's death in 1966, my grandma Ernestine Lewis relocated to Saginaw, Michigan.
Wait, here.
Okay. My grandma relocated to Saginaw, Michigan, and my dad, who was 2 at the time, never saw much of his paternal side again. He did reconnect with his big brother, Albert Lewis, who is now deceased as of October of 2015, once they were adults. However, at that time, Albert Lewis was also estranged from the Lewis family as well. I have no idea if Luther Lewis's siblings are still alive or if they had kids and those kids had kids and those kids had kids. I have no idea. I am desperately, and I mean this, I'm trying to tell y'all, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I am desperately in search of his siblings' kids, or his siblings' kids' kids. I am desperately, and I feel like that's going to be the first time I ever see a picture of my granddad. I am desperately in search of them. I've never even seen a picture of my granddad, and I carry this last name that I have no connection to. I've tested on 23andMe, but have had no such luck with close or immediate connections, and my dad isn't interested in having his DNA out there, whatever the fuck that means. So that is the information that I've been able to gather on my granddad. I do know at the time of his death, it said he, at the time of his death, it said he lived at 505. Hold on, I'm going to tell y'all. Y'all, I've been trying like, I don't think y'all understand. It's a lady in Vicksburg that know me by name because I keep on goddamn calling. At the time of my, well, what I will say, in 1966, they didn't have no obituary for him, I guess. They wasn't making obituaries yet. So it was just a little, where's that?
Right, right.
I don't see no fly in here.
Look, I already see it.
You saw it? Okay, next time you see it, tell me, I'll kill it. At the time of my granddad's death, when he was battling that illness in the hospital, he lived at either 505 Denman's Alley or 506 Denman's Alley in Vicksburg. At the time of his death, he also was survived by an aunt, Miss Hattie Lewis of Vicksburg, and other relatives. I'm not sure why Hattie was the only aunt in his thing. I don't know if his dad only had one sister. Okay, leave it alone. I don't know if his dad only had one sister at the time or what. But that's what's in his little newspaper clipping that talks about him. Let me see what else I could tell y'all. Please, somebody share my share my video. Post it on your Facebook page. Share it to your YouTube. Please, somebody share my video. I do know at one time, so his sister, what I said her name was Ella Mae Tolliver. So supposedly his sister Ella Mae Tolliver ended up having a kid who is now deceased as well. But okay, let me slow down so I can give y'all some of this information. So my dad was survived by his sister. And I just said I don't know if them siblings is alive. I forgot this part. I know for sure Ella Mae Tolliver is deceased. I forgot that I had saw that. So her name was Ella Mae Tolliver. And she lived in Vicksburg. Let me see, y'all. Bear with me. I had to get this out because I'm like, I've been trying to put a family tree together. I've been trying to do too much. Now I'm gonna have to take a old ghetto ass trip to Vicksburg for research only. Cause what the hell I want to do in Vicksburg, baby? I'm not a down south type of girl. I'm not a down south type of girl, baby. I'm a city girl. I'm gonna tell y'all. Hold on, cause I forgot when she died. What the hell? This is not even for her. Who is this? Who this for? Hold on, y'all. All right. Everything I'm about to say from this point on is supposed, because I don't even know if this is the correct Ella Mae Tolliver. But Ella Mae Tolliver, who is my granddad's sister, supposedly had a son named William Tolliver, who was a famous artist, right? He painted a picture called Luther, and that was supposedly my granddad, his uncle. I will show y'all that picture if I can. I don't even see it. Oh. Supposedly this is a painting of my granddad. I said supposedly. Stay with me.
I want pink pants with under dress.
Okay. So Ella Mae Tolliver had a son named William Tolliver, right? He died in like 2013, I think. Let me see. I think he died in 2013. But he had 2 kids. And I've been trying to find those kids. But see, here's the thing. If I find William Tolliver kids, William Tolliver, if this is the correct person, was my granddad's nephew. So then his kids would be his great niece and nephew, because he had a boy and a girl. Well, how common is it for them to know about that great uncle that died before they was even thought of? I know my great uncle, but hell, they still alive right now. We be doing family reunion. That's what I'm saying. Lewis family probably. It's Friday. It's Friday, baby. They probably wobble, baby. Wobble, baby. Who knows? We don't know because we don't know them. Who knows? And I'm not going to have my kids out here like I was out here. My kids carrying legacies that I'm not even carrying no damn legacy. We don't even know the people. We don't even know them. So that's why I'm also adamant about DJ finding out who he belongs to, because okay. So I just don't know, and I just really want someone to help me. So if I round this all off and tell y'all what I'm trying to say. My paternal granddad's name is Luther Lewis Sr. Luther Lewis Sr. had a child named Albert Lewis with a woman whose name was Clara Lee Bridges. They may have been married. They may not have been married. So Luther Lewis Sr. And Clara Lee Bridges had her, or her name at the time of her death was Clara Lee Bridges Miller. But they they had a child in 1948 whose name was Albert Lewis. Somewhere, somehow, Luther Lewis and Clara Lee Bridges, or whatever her maiden name was, somehow they separated. If they were married, they got divorced. If they were not married, they just separated, right? And then I don't know what happened in the meantime. But in 1963, Luther Lewis and Ernestine Frazier, or they would have been married at that time, but Ernestine Frazier was her maiden name. Then Luther Lewis and Ernestine connected and got married. Don't know when. They connected and got married. And in 1963, they had a child named Richard Lewis. 11 months later, stay with me, 11 months later in 1964, they had a child named Luther Lewis Jr. In 1966, April of 66, Luther Lewis Sr. lost his life from TB. In May of 66, Ernestine Lewis delivered their last baby, Maria Lewis. At the time of Luther Lewis' death, he was survived by his parents, Richard Lewis, and either Hannah or Anna Jones. I do not know if they were married, so her name could have been Hannah Lewis. Either Hannah Lewis or Anna Lewis. So one or the other, Hannah or Anna, and Jones or Lewis. So in April of 66, Luther Lewis Sr. was survived by his mother and father, Richard and Hannah Lewis, his wife, Ernestine Lewis, his kids, Albert Lewis, Luther Lewis Jr., and Richard Lewis, his siblings, Ella Mae Tolliver, Joe. What I just told y'all Joe's last name was. How was his... Ella Mae, was she married? So maybe she was grown. I mean, she could have been grown. He was... Oh, Joe Lewis. A brother, Joe Lewis, who lived in Ocala, Florida in 1966. And a sister, Ella Mae Tolliver, who must have been married. Because I don't know where the Tolliver came from. She must have been married at the time. He was also survived by an aunt, Hattie Lewis of Vicksburg. If this is still correct, Ella Mae Tolliver, she went on to have a child. I don't know if she had more than one, but she for sure had a child named William Tolliver. He was a famous artist in the Atlanta area. He is the artist of a picture entitled Luther. That's the picture that I just showed y'all. He's the artist of that picture titled Luther. Trying to see if there's anything else I could tell y'all for someone to try to help me. Please, somebody help me. Each one, teach one, please. I'm telling you, I'm literally on bended knee. I'm about to try to show y'all my tree. Oh, now they got my grandma and my uncle and mama's spouses listed for my granddad. Don't nobody come on here talking to me about telling my story about my family, because I'm not in the mood. Wasn't nobody in the mood to ask no questions before I was born or while I was a kid. So I'm not in the mood. I don't care. Each one teach one. I'm not teaching y'all nothing. Don't come on here asking me nothing. I'm trying to show y'all my thing, but I can't get this thing off the screen. So Richard Lewis and either Hannah or Anna Jones, can't tell y'all, had Luther Lewis. And then Luther Lewis married Ernestine Frazier. Luther Lewis went on to have his own kid, Albert Lewis Sr. With, again, I told y'all, Clara Lee Bridges. And he married Ernestine Frazier, and they had Richard Lewis, Luther Lewis Jr., and Maria Lewis. Ernestine went on to have Ricky Lewis with a separate father. Luther Lewis died in 65. This is just showing my dad and my mom and the kids that they had. And then the kids that I had. I ain't feel like putting my brother kids in here yet. My brother got 1,200 kids. And I ain't feel like doing all that. But I just put me and my sister kids in here. I got 2, she got 1. So if y'all can really understand what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to find the descendants of Richard Lewis and either Hannah or Anna Jones. I think they were married at the time, because it said on my granddad little newspaper clipping, it said he survived by his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Lewis of Vicksburg. So he was survived by his parents in 66. Maybe I need to start trying to find his damn parents. Maybe that's where I need to go and go from there. But as I was looking at my Uncle Al's obituary, who died in 2015. Now, mind you, I just said, how old is that older than my dad? He was born in, hold on, I'm about to tell you how much older than my dad he is. He was born in 1948. When in 48? My Uncle Al was born July 15th of 48. My granddad died in April of 66. So he was almost 18 at the time. A couple months shy. April, May, June, July. He was 3 months shy of 18. So that's damn near grown. So he was born July 48. My dad was born November of 63. So he's 15 years older than my dad, right? So 15 years older than my dad. So my Uncle Al, God rest his beautiful soul, just a lovely man. Just the greatest. Just the greatest. I love my Uncle Al. My Uncle Al, smooth. Y'all, I wish I could have knew my Uncle Al. He was so smooth. My Uncle Al died in 2015. So I was looking at his obituary because, mind you, he's 15 years older than my dad. So 15 in some months, half at this point, July to November. My granddad was outside. That's also why they tight-lipped. My granddad was outside. Stay with me. I was looking at my uncle's obituary, seeing if I could pull anything, because he knew my granddad for 15 years longer than my dad. Now, once I found out he was estranged, I think he was like 14 when, or prior to 14 when his mom and my granddad broke up. But that means he knew him for 10 years, 12, 11, 9, 7, longer than something. So I started looking at his obituary, trying to see what I could put together, what I could pull out, who I could try to reach out to. Now, y'all just heard me say his mama name was Clara Lee Bridges. His daddy name was Luther Lewis. His siblings is listed in there. He got another lady in there too, his I don't know who the other lady is. I want his damn stepmom, because my Uncle Al was dead. I mean, my granddad was dead. I don't know who the other lady was. But he got 3 women listed in there as his mom, which is his mom, my grandma, Ernestine Lewis. That's my dad and the mama. And then another lady that I forgot right now. But I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I promise I'm not. But I need y'all to understand. So, like, she was irrelevant to what I'm trying to say. So, his siblings is listed in here, right? And it lists all his, mama siblings, his mama kids, the one that carry the same last name as him. So, is his mama. So, his mama name was Clara Lee Bridges Miller. It got Dora Jean Miller Carter. It got Clara, Billy Walker, Evelyn Smith. All these people. Just stay with me. It got all these people, right? And then they got the Lewis siblings. Now, mind y'all, I just said Luther Lewis Sr. died in April of 66, right? So it got those siblings listed, and them should be my grandma kids, right? Stay with me. Stay with me. Them should be my grandma kids. So it lists my grandma kids. But then sticking out like a sore thumb as I was reading it, as it is listing my grandma kids, it also says Monica Lewis of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Monica Lewis is not in parentheses nowhere, like she married somebody that was a Lewis. None of my uncles ain't married. My dad not married. It ain't no parentheses like she married in. It says Monica Lewis of Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I called my dad and said, could y'all potentially have another sister y'all didn't know? And my dad talking about, I heard my dad had a kid that died in the house fire. Baby, this person alive. This person, well, at least was alive in 2015. I ended up finding somebody that looks, their name is Monica Lewis from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I don't know if she looked like my Uncle Al or if I wanted to look like my Uncle Al. But I feel like she looked like my Uncle Al. Why would her last name be Lewis? Now, granted, her last name could just be Lewis. We all came over on a slave ship. That could have just been their ownership name. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that could just be a random Lewis. But she also could not be random. So, I reached out to her on Facebook. I'm not her friend. I did send her a friend request. I also sent her a message. She has not responded. But the page was not... Amaya, please stop. The page was not an active page. Thank you. It wasn't an active page like something she just be on. I think it wasn't no, I think it wasn't no, her name is Monica Lewis Patrick now. Excuse me, but it looked like she was last on here September 19th. She shared something. But I did message her on Monday, October the 7th. She has not read it yet. I sent her a friend request. I might try to reach out to leadership in Grand Rapids and see what I can figure out. And this might not even be the right person, but I'm telling y'all, I just said I was trying to pull a BBL ass out of a rabbit. I'm gonna go down every black hole. I'm gonna go down every single one of them till I get to where I need to get. And do Vicksburg, Mississippi get cold? Because I might be planning a trip there earlier in the year. And see what I can see. I just ordered my granddad's birth certificate as well as death certificate. I'll be reaching back out to the Vicksburg Library tomorrow to see if they can give me the coordinates on where he was buried. To see if this lady has been so much help in Vicksburg. But it's only so much she could do. It's only so much information she could pull from the archives. So, I did learn that nephew that was my granddad's supposed nephew from his sister, Ella Mae Tolliver, he do favor my dad. He do look like my dad. So I feel like I'm following the right people. That William Tolliver, the artist, he favors my dad. I was able to see my granddad's handwriting, and my dad have my granddad's handwriting. It's so crazy. I always was wondering, like, how my dad writes so nice and neat. You really don't see men that write nice and neat. My dad have a beautiful handwriting, and he get it from his dad. I was able to see him sign his signature on a Army enlistment card. I've been able to research and find that, but y'all, it's been so hard, and that's why I'm coming to bring this to YouTube. I had to let it out, and I'm really hoping that my video resonates with the right person. Somebody finds it. If y'all need me to do the flashcards to make it be better, and I probably will do that. I probably will get me just papers and write out what I'm trying to say so it can be in order and organized and easier. But I'm hoping that I at least said it easy enough for somebody to be able to catch it and know what I'm saying and what I'm looking for. I am looking for the descendants of Richard Lewis and either Hannah Jones or Lewis or Anna Jones or Lewis. They lived in Vicksburg, Mississippi in the 1960s. They had children. Luther Lewis, who died in April of 66. They had a son named Joe Lewis, who lived in Ocala, Florida in April of 66. They had a daughter named Ella Mae Tolliver. She may have been married. She would have had to been married. Ella Mae Tolliver lived in Vicksburg in 1966, April of 66. There was also a Hattie Lewis that was the sister of Richard Lewis Sr. Richard Lewis Sr. and the aunt of Luther Lewis Sr., Hattie Lewis, who lived in Vicksburg in April of 66. Luther Lewis Sr. lost his life to TB in April of 66 after being in University Hospital in Jackson, Mississippi for a long time. At that time, he either lived at 506 Denmans in Vicksburg or 505 Denmans. He was born in June 11th of 1926 or July 11th of 1926 or June 11th of 27 or July 11th of 27. So it's either June or July the 11th. And the year is either 1926 or 1927. Will someone please try to help me do whatever you can. Try to help me find my family. If you are unable to, I promise you, I just appreciate you sharing my video. Like my video to keep it in rotation for somebody else to see it and somebody else to see it. Please like my video. Share my video. I'll come to y'all tomorrow with a vlog, but I had to get this off of me today. This is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my night, trying to figure it out. I'm about to upload this right now in the flesh, nappy head and all, because I had to get this off. And I'm going to every avenue. I need some help. Please, somebody help me connect my family. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope I wasn't too confusing. Happy day 11 of Vlogtober. And I'll be back to y'all tomorrow with an updated vlog. Have a good night.